Alright, I'm gonna do this because I honestly love this song, and really it's nowhere in this movie for some reason, so I'm gonna sing it here. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus, you're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. Cue intro. The Grinch. Alright, I'm gonna take this off. Alright, so The Grinch. If you don't know what The Grinch is, what? Dr. Seuss's original tale of how the Grinch stole Christmas. It was a 1966 TV special narrated by Boris Karloff. Then we had a live-action movie in the year 2000 directed by Ron Howard and starring Jim Carrey. Now we got a CG version with Benedict Cumberbatch as the voice of the Grinch. Done by Illumination Entertainment. They brought us the Despicable Me movies and Secret Life of Pets. And that's really what you compare this movie to. Because when I watched the trailer, like the first trailer for this film, I was like, oh, okay, so they basically took the Grinch and they turned him into Despicable Me. You know, he's just going around the town, just doing mean pranks to people. And I'll be honest, I remember seeing the first Despicable Me movie in theaters and thinking it was actually pretty funny. The other ones after that, they're just kids movies for kids. Illumination is like hit or miss for me because I like Secret Life of Pets, I like the first Despicable Me. This Grinch movie, I wasn't a huge fan. Which is baffling to me because it's the story of the Grinch. It's a classic Christmas story. How do you mess that up? One of the most common complaints I've heard, and I actually agree with, is that the Grinch in this movie, he's not really grumpy enough. Yeah, that picture of the Grinch is deceiving. He's actually kind of soft, which is like not the Grinch at all. The original Boris Karloff cartoon, which is still the best version of the Grinch I've seen, there was no rhyme or reason, well there was rhyme, but there was no reason for why the Grinch hated Christmas so much. He hated Christmas because he just did. Because he was the Grinch. The live action version, the Grinch hated the Christmas because of some weird love story with Christine Baranski. And in this version, he hates Christmas for another reason. It's conflicting. Like they established, yeah, okay, the Grinch is grumpy. He lives by himself up on Mount Crumpet. His heart is 2 sizes too small. But then you'll see him eventually like soften up and actually like do something nice and be like, wait, I thought this was the Grinch. And there are a couple other subplots in this film that really, like, the reason they're in this film is so the film can actually be like an appropriate length time. Like Cindy Lou Who in this film, you know, she's like a mandatory Grinch character. Her campaign in this whole film, I felt, did not need to be in there at all. I didn't like it. Like, every time the movie went back to Cindy Lou Who's story, I was like, okay, come on, let's get back to the Grinch, because the Grinch's story is more interesting. And there's another subplot with, like, this fat reindeer who just annoyed me. And I get that's, like, the thing for kids, you know, again, this is a kids movie for kids, and I feel like kids will like this movie. This is me, I guess, just kind of nitpicking the things I didn't like about it. This is me being a Grinch, I guess. I didn't like the narration either, see? Nitpicking. But again, like the original cartoon had Boris Karloff narrating. The live action movie had Anthony Hopkins narrating. This movie, Pharrell Williams. I feel like Pharrell Williams just has an obligatory contract with Illumination. Like, he's got to do something for every Illumination movie. But no, come on, this is Dr. Seuss. You gotta get an old British person on this. Or I don't know, Morgan Freeman. But not Pharrell Williams. He even botched some of the original classic lines. That's where I drew the line. I was like, no, that's not the line from the story. But that being said, this movie was not completely horrible. Some of the humor was actually pretty funny. I found myself laughing out loud quite a few times, I'm not gonna lie. Not all the humor landed, of course, but a good amount of it did. And of course, the animation was beautiful. Again, you're coming from the world of Dr. Seuss. It's gonna look all, you know, weird and contorted. Give that to Illumination Entertainment, looks great. And the music. I really like the music in this film, except for the weird rap versions of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. I mean, no. The Grinch has some of the best, like, most classic, some of my favorite Christmas songs. Not just You're a Mean One, but that whole chorus, the Fahoo Forest. At least that song's in this movie. And it does have the Pentatonix version of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, which I really love. In fact, the scene that has that song is probably the best scene in the movie, in my opinion. I actually thought it was great. I love Pentatonix's Christmas music. And Danny Elfman did the score for this film. And I could definitely tell, like, yeah, there are, like, Christmas songs like Jingle Bells and stuff like that in the score. Oh, Christmas Tree, things like that. With Danny Elfman's choir in the background, it's really cool. I like it. It's a really good score. But like, those are the things I liked about the film. I like the humor, and like the movie looks good, and it's, you know, got great music for the most part. But like the execution of the story, I thought was botched. I mean, they did keep, you know, the basic story of the Grinch intact. You know, he's Grinch, he's grumpy, he lives on his mountain, and he steals Christmas, and then the climax happens. But the biggest flaw in this film, I felt that the Grinch was not grumpy enough. They made him too soft. And all the other subplots I felt just didn't need to happen. I was gonna give this movie my discount rating, but no. For The Grinch, I will say, wait until you can watch this movie on Netflix. So what is your favorite version of The Grinch? Whatever it is, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.